Hello everybody and welcome back to another YouTube video. And on today's video we're going to be touching on the preview for Q4 earnings for Ondas. They're reporting earnings on the 25th of March. And be sure to stick around to the end of the video where I've got an announcement to make about something that's happening a few days after the call on the earnings. So thank you very much for supporting the video and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. So there still might be a lot of people out there that don't even know what Ondas is. So Ondas Inc. develops wireless data and drone technology solutions for industrial and government markets. Their platforms enable secure, high-performance communication and autonomous drone operations through their subsidiaries that serve sectors like rail, energy, defence, with NDAA compliant systems. Now we've been covering Ondas on this channel and across the social media pages for well over a year now. It first came into the Discord at 79 cents a share. Some of the biggest names who cover Ondas are now in that Discord as well, which if you scan the QR code, it will be there. And it's been absolutely ride the last year. There's been so much to cover and it can sometimes become a bit of a minefield. So in this video, we're going to cover everything that happened in Q4, ready up to Q4 earnings. So let's get into it. So some of Ondas's main business focuses, their balance sheet and their backlog. Ondas will be going into Q4 earnings with a healthy cash position on the balance sheet, which we will touch on at the end of the video, and a continued growing backlog. The network and rail in Q4, it's worth noting that in Q4 24, Ondas reported 0.5 million revenue in a network and rail sector and 3.6 million with the OAS segment. So for the fourth quarter and full year 25 preliminary revenue of between 29.5 and 30.1 million. For Q4, that's 7x the Q4 of 24, and between 49.7 and 50.7 million, respectively, both are ahead of guidance. So there's been some key leadership and advisory additions. Yoav is a former president and CEO of Rafael, has been appointed to the OAS advisory board. Patrick Houston was appointed Chief Operating Officer, which is COO, retaining role as General Counsel though on the advisory board. And Brent Lang, who is a rail industry leader, is appointed to the Ondas Network Board. Now, it's worth noting, as you can see on the screenshot on the left-hand side, Ondas have also been aggressively employing Rafael, Israeli MOD, and lots of other people in that field over the last course of the last 12 months. So a lot of key members, a lot of CEOs, a lot of built-up people from really big companies have been joining Ondas. So capital strategy and balance sheet actions. We had a stock and warrant offering for 425 million, which was priced above market price at the time. So it shows investor demand, enabling premium pricing. The offering closed a day later, and they sold an addition on top of this. Now, this one's a little bit interesting. We had some new information on it yesterday, which was the debt exchange for the OAS. So 7.6 million shares were issued. That means 5.3 million shares would hit on Q4 and the rest on Q1 26, which was a 39 million non-cash charge. But they've been offset with a gain on warrants of 102 million. Which means that it'll offset the 39 million OAS charge, meaning they're still net non-cash positive for 63 million, which goes into it's going to either in Q4 or Q1. So it'd be, obviously that was in their preliminary results that they released literally yesterday. So even though we had that one-off charge, it shouldn't hurt the EPS as much because we've got a warrant gain offset as well by 102 million. So that was interesting to see yesterday, some very smart accounting. So these were some of the key events that Ondas participated in Q4. So they showcased the Iron Drone Raider at the US, and they had the US launch of Ondas Capital at AUSA in Washington, DC, which was about October 13th, 15th. They had the American Robotics Optimus, which achieved green UAS. That was in October. In November, we obviously had the year-on-year growth earnings for Q3, which was massively continued growth year-on-year, absolutely smashed it in regards to what was expected. Ondas Holdings 4M Defense and Safe Pro Group completed Middle East pilot program. So that was an interesting watch to see when they released that on LinkedIn. That was an 8-week pilot. And also Ondas participated in the HC Wainwright conference, and Eric did a fireside chat here. That wasn't public, but it was a fireside chat here. So yeah, so they've been very busy. Eric is obviously always busy doing interviews and everything else as well. So this was only a small amount of those, but some very key things and very active things from Ondas in Q4. So the things that actually matter in business, and that's orders and contract momentum. So we had the initial WASP order. So Ondas placed its initial order from WASP from Rift on October the 2nd. We had our first airport order of 8.2 million, which was a European airport. And we had our second order on December 1st for another 8.2 million for a major European international airport order. Now, there is speculation that this was Germany. No one actually knows exactly which one it was yet. There's been no actual full disclosure. But the thing to take away from that is the average airport order would be looking around 8.2 million. And obviously that's food for thought. Border Protection Program, we were selected for the National Border Protection System, autonomous drone deployment. So since that, we have now picked up an order from that in Q1. But again, this is stuff to be looking at for Q4. And we also got a 10 million defence order, expanding demand across aerial, ground and counter UAS. It's nice to see all parts of Ondas picking up orders, not just the drone side. So partnerships and strategic investments, and how Ondas has been using their money. So Rift Dynamics. Ondas expands Rift Dynamics partnerships to include Nammo, fully integrated WASP munition drone to serve the US defence market, and that was on October the 13th. We had the Safe Pro Group, which was, they received 14 million strategic investment led by Ondas. We had PDW, which was Ondas announced 35 million strategic investment in PDW to expand production of next generation of combat robots. We had Drone Fight Group, or DFG, and we put initially 11 million in that through Ondas Capital. And we had Smart Precision Optics, so Ondas Autonomous Systems and Heidelberg entered into negotiations on the establishment of a corporation. Again, since Q1, we now know that that is a thing. But again, we're going over what happened in Q4. So that was all of the partnerships and the strategic investments that happened in Q4. Really busy company, consistently always putting out PRs. It just never stops. Ondas made some big acquisitions in Q4 25. One of them was being 4M Defense. Ondas acquired a controlling interest in 4M Defense, expanding into smart demining and subsurface intelligence. Now fully owned as of Q1 2026, strengthening integration within OAS. 4M provides AI-powered terrestrial intelligence using satellite, drone and historic data, focused on detecting underground threats, landmines and UXOs across global conflict zones. Integrated with Ondas aerial systems to create multi-domain intelligence capabilities. 4M are also across 60 plus countries with defence and civil applications, established a new ground-based intelligence vertical within the OAS. This was one of 4, I think, acquisitions that they did in Q4, which we're going to touch on. Insight Intelligence Sensors. Ondas acquired a controlling interest in Insight, expanding AI sensoring capabilities. Provides advanced sensor technology for detection, imaging and intelligence gathering. Enhances Ondas' ability to collect and process real-time data across environments, and integrated with drones and robotics to improve situational awareness. It strengthens AI-driven analytics within the OAS platforms and supports development of multi-domain intelligence solutions. Ironically, if you follow Eric on X, he loves it when it comes around to laser businesses. When you see they acquire businesses like this, you'll notice he puts a lot of posts out about it. So it's a big main sector that he really pays a lot of attention to. For me personally, Centric is probably one of the best acquisitions that they've done. I think it's been an absolute steal of a business for them. I think it's one of the best additions to the wider network of Ondas. So Ondas acquired Centric, a global leader in counter UAS cyber technology. Provides protocol-based drone takeover, enabling detection, identification and control of hostile drones. Technology can take control of drones without jamming or kinetic force. Actively deployed across Europe, the Middle East and Asia, and supporting military, homeland security and critical infrastructure. Already in real-world operational use, not just early stage or piloting deployments. Expands Ondas reach into high-value international defence markets. Integrated with Ondas platform to deliver full counter-drone solutions, and strengthens positions in a rapidly growing counter-UAS market. Like I say, Centric has been a massive addition to the OAS. So now you can do soft kill, hard kill. I think in my opinion, it's one of the best ones that they've acquired. Last and not least on the acquisitions was RoboTeam. So Ondas acquired RoboTeam, a global leader in tactical ground robotics. Provides field-proven unmanned ground vehicles, which is UGVs, used in military and defence operations. Systems support combat, surveillance and hazardous mission environments. Deployed with military, law enforcement and special forces globally. Expands Ondas into a ground-based robotics and multi-domain autonomy. And it integrates with aerial systems to deliver full air and ground operation capability. And it strengthens the position in the growing defence robotics market. This was a big topic that me and Eric spoke about on our interview last time. And it makes sense that he was saying like every soldier should have one of these dogs on their backs type things that goes in first, reduces casualties. Yeah, so I think UGVs is going to be a massive market in the coming years. You're seeing some fantastic stuff already. So RoboTeam looks very promising for Ondas. So before we get into the announcement and the closing PTs, let's just do a recap of the balance sheet and the key milestones for Q4. been some solid fundamentals as always and rapid growth. So cash on the balance sheet as of Q1, because obviously the raise was then, is 1.5 billion. At the end of Q4 is just under 500 million. We've had 5 strategic partnerships and investments in Q4. We've had 4 successful acquisitions. And we've got a backlog of 23.3 million, which is increasing quarter over quarter. This is what you want to see. This is fantastic. It's like I said, a balance sheet just keeps improving. It is very interesting to see what they're going to do with this cash, as the acquisitions that they keep doing is part cash and a lot of shares. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. So let's get into the announcement and the closing PTs. So people always say to me, where do I see this company and why would I invest in it now? Now, one of the big things about this company is it's got an incredible CEO, and the management team around the CEO are all fantastic. So they also have partnerships, and the acquisitions speak for themselves. All are either generating revenue or driving the company's growth execution, which is now the important part. The very important part for me is getting to profit. So obviously at the back end of last year, Eric said on one of the earning calls that the second half of 26 we would be positive. So we'd like to see where that goes. Obviously there's been a lot of change in the business, a lot of new acquisitions. There's a lot of arms that are coming in. My PT was 8 for end of year 25. We ended up finishing about north of 10. And my PT for end of year 26 was 20. We've seen people last year saying PTs of 100 by the end of 25. So unrealistic, it's crazy. It's good to have a bit of opium, but obviously it's about being realistic as well. So that was my PTs. We'll definitely see where it is at the end of the year. So it's been a wild journey so far. It's always an exciting journey on with Ondas. So let's get down to the announcement. So as people know, I've been following Ondas for a very long time, and I've had the pleasure of interviewing some of the best people on the board. And as it goes, after earnings, so following next weekend, I'll be sitting down with Eric again, and we will be touching over everything on Q4 earnings and everything that's happened in the last 6 months since we sat down. The last interview that we did was absolutely phenomenal, and it blew up on YouTube. I was one of the first people to sit down and have a proper interview with him before everybody else started doing it. So that was a great opportunity. It was great for the channel. So if you do want to see that interview and you do want to see what me and Eric talk about and discuss, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if there is a question that you would ask Eric, what would it be? And drop it down in the comments below. And thank you very much for watching.